Scooter parking's an extra $20. Scooter parking is extra $20. They've done it.
No, it's much older. Back in college, and then just getting worse and worse.
It's because you're getting older and older.
So, will this be our last meeting here for sure?
Yeah, because they're doing all of our stuff. One thing we didn't talk about because it's chaos and not being
How's it going, man? You on cloud nine?
He drives that big old round. One that almost backed over there. What almost backed over there? Is that you did?
That may have been that's one of the best quarterbacks performances I've seen probably all year. He does.
Playoff game. He does.
Oh, yeah.
You know I picked a good ball to
I may just kind of like
Ask him, didn't I pick Ole Miss to go undefeated?
At the beginning of the season?
Yes, before the season started.
okay. Dang.
It ain't because
Gosh, Gino's
You should have put money on that.
I said, we gotta get past Georgia.
Yeah.
Well, that's the one.
Well, you almost had them the first time.
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening. Oh, there he is. We were just talking bad about you.
Yeah. I was getting lonely on this end.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order this Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting for Monday, January 5th, 2026. It is 2026. So don't forget to write that down, I guess. Everyone is present, including the almost late Dwight Barker. If everyone would please standing for the opening prayer, and please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Bow your heads, please. To Heavenly Father, Lord, we love you and thank you for 2026 and just the anticipation of whatever is in our future. Lord, I just pray that you provide wisdom and covering and, Lord, safety and security for our citizens. Lord, thank you for our board members up here, for the time that they give, the work they put in. Lord, thank you for our staff. Lord, that they just continuously provide everything that we can, that we need to be able to make these decisions. And thank you for them and, Lord, our fire department. Lord, to just ask for protection for them for the year. Lord, just provide them wisdom as they're doing their jobs. Lord, just lead us tonight in this meeting. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Mr. Crater, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Sorry. That's all right.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the December 1st, 2025 meeting?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Brooks, second by Mr. Barker. Any objection to approval of the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That item passes. Next up, we have grievances and comments from citizens. This is where we allow anyone to come here and speak on any particular topic. We give you up to 3 minutes. If we can cover the topic during the meeting tonight, we will, but if not, staff will take notes and get back with you. We don't usually do a Q&A back and forth. So I do have one card, but if somebody else is still wanting to talk, all they gotta do is come forward and let staff know, and we'll get your information. But I got one card right now. Is there anybody else here to speak that I don't know of? All right, we'll have Brad Less come up. Sorry, I didn't call you if you were lieutenant or.
Brad's fine.
Brad's fine, okay.
Yes, sir. City of Arlington, I'm Brad Less. I live at 6599 Ricks Road, Arlington, Tennessee, zip code in unincorporated Shelby County. I want to let you know I'm running for sheriff in 2026. Used to, I gave the Arlington report on crime, and my understanding is that that's kind of fallen to the wayside. I think it's important that we go back to doing that. And the reason being is Arlington is, right now, the home of the sheriff's office. We have a substation in Arlington, and you need to see our faces. You need to see our faces regularly. And I also want to put into play a little more policing, not so much in Arlington to be strict, but something that you would see every day, officers that you're going to see every day. and that's to be patrolling the neighborhoods, patrolling the streets. We do dedicate some cars up here, but they do get pulled to other areas such as Cordova and farther away that makes the response time a little faster, or a little slower. I want to speed that up where they're already out here and dedicate folks to Arlington. I think that's important. You're an incorporated city, you have a fire department, you don't have a police department, you rely on the sheriff's office. And that's for all major cities that we have here. And Arlington, Bartlett, Germantown, Collierville, Millington, you need to see more of the sheriff's office and being, at least assisting in some of those complaints, because we're paying county taxes, right? So that's a benefit that you're not getting. So you should get it. So Brad Less for sheriff. The election is in May, but early voting is April 15th through 30th, and then May 5th is the election, then we move on to the next one. So this will be the primary. And, you know, with 30 years of experience, along with military, United States Coast Guard, in 2013, I'm a special agent with CJIS, it's Coast Guard Investigative Service. So I serve the country as well in many different hats as a sheriff's deputy. I started my career in 1995, was a Memphis Police PST, and then moved up in the ranks to the sheriff's office to sergeant, lieutenant, currently over the jail investigators and a personal crimes unit. We handle a lot of deaths and things like that, and that jail is a mess. And I'm here to protect all the citizens, including those that get incarcerated. And any one of us at any given time can have a bad day, and there's no reason why you should go to that jail and have a worse day and die. And fentanyl is a big killer. Killer for everybody. Killer of our kids, killer of our citizens, killer of our inmates, and we got to do everything we can to stop that. So I'm not going to hold up much more of your time. I did bring my petition with me. If anybody would like to sign, I'll stick around towards the end, and I got to get those signatures. So I've got some pens and cards and stickers and things like that to hand out to you. Again, it's Brad Less for Sheriff 2026. I'm excited, ready to do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your enthusiasm, and we all of us up here sitting know what it takes to run for office. So, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Communications. Let's see. The Sheriff's Department report is on file, as mentioned. So I'm going to turn it over to Chief Harville for the Fire Department.
Hey, good evening. This will be the Arlington Fire Department activity report for December. We had a total of 117 responses, 71 were EMS, 46 were fire. We gave mutual aid 16 times, received it 3, had 27 calls south of Interstate 40, 5 on Interstate 40. We assisted Shelby County Fire with a small commercial fire at a burger place there in the Lakeland area. A total of 12 inspections, 2 smoke alarm checks, and 2 installs. Several things listed on activity. Just bring out just a couple of those. We were able to send Chief Laughlin and one of our privates, Chad Douglas, to a CISD peer counseling class. That was a 4-day class there in Middle Tennessee. That gives us a total of about a third of our department are now CISD capable to administer those debriefings as well as peer counselors. And also, I know Parks is not here, but Parks did a wonderful job, as well as town staff, doing all the special events for the month of December. And the fire department, the battalion chiefs, and all the on-duty personnel was able to participate, get their emergency action plans in place with no incidents. So we're proud of our guys for that. I've also submitted a year in review for 2025 for the Arlington Fire Department. That should be in your file, as well as a recap of the calls for the last 5 years. But I'm here to answer any questions if you may have them.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions? Kind of upset because you just stole some of the stuff I was going to talk about.
Yes, sir. I'm
with the
sorry.
Special events.
Yes, sir.
So next time, let's get on the same page. No, I'm kidding.
Yes,
No,
sir.
but I was going to say the same thing you did. I mean, the work that everybody's staff put in. I know you guys have to do a lot of. I mean, I think between our last meeting and now, there were 3 events, and we had 2 events before that. I mean, it was a busy event season, and
yes, sir.
a lot of coordinating with you all, Sheriff's Department, staff, volunteers, and every one of them went off successfully. So, and without incident.
Yes,
Which
sir.
is even better. I know we had one little medical incident at one of them, but that can happen anywhere, and
Yes, sir.
fire department was right there and took care of it within 30 seconds. So,
Correct.
I appreciate everybody. So thank you for saying
Yes,
that,
sir.
Chief. Any other comments? All right. Up to committee reports. So this is kind of on me this year. I will say this because being displaced, we've been kind of all over the place, and committees, usually sometimes we do them November, December, and we had kind of just some things going on. So we're here now, and one thing that we all just kind of realized is I'm gonna reappoint, I did a few last month, gonna do the rest this month, but one we forgot to really even talk about was the board still does the planning commission. And I don't know if anybody's talked about it or whatever. I know Oscar's still willing to serve, but I wanted to just kind of see from the planning commission standpoint what the board wanted to do, just reappoint for now, or if anybody else is interested. I don't know if there's been other discussions. We at staff and I were just talking about this 5 minutes ago, so, anybody have any input on that, or?
I mean, and for doing nominations, Oscar, if you want to be on it, I don't mind nominating you just to remain on it.
I'll second.
We got a motion and a second for Oscar. Are there any other nominations?
Just disappointed there wasn't a grudge match.
All right, seeing no other nominations, all in favor of Oscar, say aye. Aye. All right, that item, excuse me, Oscar will be the board-appointed member of the Planning Commission. The other two members of the Planning Commission still want to serve, and it's honestly, and we've had a few, we still take the applications over the year, and we plug them in some different committees usually. You know, a lot of people only put Planning Commission, but a lot of them don't have any kind of background to do it, so we try to plug them in somewhere else and get them involved in the town. So right now, we still have Gary Whittam, who just came on last year, but he was fulfilling the end of Vic Goshi's spot. So Gary, to reappoint Gary, and Susan Payne, and those two without any opposition from the board. The Board of Zoning Appeals, Dwight was going to take over the board BZA, and then we had to reappoint Tim Carter and Sam Morrell. As you guys know, BZA meets rarely, but I think we do maybe have something coming up soon, but they're very rare. And then the only other ones that we haven't fulfilled would be Design Review, and basically trying to keep it the same because they've been doing a good job with Jeff as alderman, representative, Josh Holtgrew, Ronald Collin, and Rick Evanson. So unless there's some other discussion by the board, I was just going to keep those the same. But this coming up year, so we'll try to put a hard calendar out earlier, and we can have that discussion if there's people that are interested in moving around, and we can try to work on that a little better. It just honestly kind of slipped up, and I'll take the fire for that. Everybody good?
It doesn't bother me. I mean, do we do it every year?
We do it every year. I know we could, it's, now not all the members on there, some of theirs are 2 or 3 year terms, but the alderman we usually do every year because we do the planning commission every year. And so sometimes if the planning commission one changes, it may have a trickle down effect of the other ones.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way that goes, so. But we'll look into that and see if we need, I mean, we've already talked about the way we're doing budget this year and all that, so we'll continue to evaluate if we have any outdated practices or things we need to change or tweak. Couple other things. I don't know, I guess this thing did my talk to text and my thing, it doesn't even make sense what this sentence says. But Tanya, just so you know, Tanya, who's usually here, she had minor procedure today, so she was not gonna be here today, but she did want me to announce that the chamber lunch is next Wednesday, and Carrie Vaughn is speaking on that. I do want to say, I know I've thanked the ACS staff and everything. Please relay our thanks. I mean, for letting us use this facility for the last several months. I know you said, he said earlier, he said, we're good next month if you want it. We were like, no, we hope we're back to normal. It's just, we need that stability back to normal. We should be fine. So, but we are very thankful of our family here at ACS to kind of be able to just kind of fill the void. So thank you. Staff, we've already talked about the events, have lots of, it's legislative sessions going back. It seems like whether it's Congress, state, or mayors, or regional mayors, or there's meetings I mean, it's like something's coming up every day that somebody wants to do. So there's a lot of that. Try to make as many of those as I can. Everybody be reminded next Thursday, the budget meeting that we're doing.
Where is it?
Town hall.
Okay.
So, yeah, we think we can pretty much use the boardroom. Maybe not 100% like we would, but we can use the boardroom, hopefully. But yeah, so anybody, and just so everybody reminds everybody that we will have a overview of the budget. This is where we kind of throw everything in the air to see what we've got, and then we'll whittle away over the next few months of where we're gonna go. Hopefully this will be a pretty smooth budget season, and this will be kind of a new way, our first time to do it this way. And as Mr. Les said earlier, you know, we do have elections this year. We got primaries, we got generals, and then we've got state and federal, and so it's gonna be a busy year and a lot of things going on with that. Any other comments or questions from anybody?
I just wanted to second, kudos to everybody on town staff for all the events in December. You know, it seems like every year, all the combination of events get a little better, and this year was no exception. I mean, it was, Christmas on the Square was awesome. The 125-year celebration was awesome. And so just really appreciate all the hard work. And I know it's department heads, but when I'm there with my family, I see a lot of just employees that I've never even met before, but they've got the Arlington uniform on or whatever. And so there's a lot of people I know that, that make that come together, so I really appreciate it.
Any other questions or comments? All right, on to any committee reports for last month? Seeing none, on to old business. Oh, and just also note, I know what that first thing said, that now. It said Will in there, but it said something Arlington. I'll just remind everybody, Will's here tonight. You know, sometimes we'll have on certain planning or zoning things that we do at the planning commission level, he'll be here, so Will's here to handle those tonight. So, yeah, so something about that talk to text did not convert over very well. Old business. Item A, second and final reading of ordinance 2025-09 to amend the town of Arlington zoning map by rezoning parcel A 1052-00062 totaling 9.75 acres on the south side of I-40 from E Estate Residential to SC Shopping Center. I'm gonna turn this over to Mr. Crater, or Mr. Patterson. And we do have a public hearing on this.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. This is to rezone property. It's right off the interstate, 9.75 acres to shopping center commercial. It's consistent with the land use plan and with the adjoining properties. It did go before the MPC, and it was unanimously recommended to this body, and we do have a public hearing. Staff recommends approval.
You've heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. McKee, second by Mr. Brooks. All right, we're on the main motion, but do I have a motion to suspend the Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting and open the public hearing? Motion by Vice Mayor McKee, second by Mr. Barker. All right, we are now in the public hearing. Second and final reading of ordinance 2025-09 to amend the town of Arlington zoning map by changing the longleaf, the intersection of, it's the intersection of Arlington Trail and Longleaf Trail from E Estate Residential to SC Shopping Center. This was published in the Daily News on December 9th, 2025. Is anyone wishing to speak for or against this particular item? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing and resume the meeting? Motion by Vice Mayor McKee, second by Mr. Barker. I think, was it? Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Harmon. Back on the main motion. Discussion or questions for Mr. Crater, Mr. Patterson, or staff? I know we talked about this before. It should be pretty. All right. Seeing none. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That item passes. Next up, any other old business slide in there? New business. Item A, Resolution 2025-51 to authorize a master development plan for residential plan development consisting of 30 single-family lots with 3 common open spaces located west of Chester Street, approximately 3,500 feet north of Donaldson Road, 1,500 feet of east of Airline Road, located on 15.15 acres known as Chester Hills PD. We do have a public hearing on this.
Mr. Chairman,
Miss-
since Mr. Patterson is here to handle that, I'm gonna recuse myself because I've got an interest in it.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Crater.
All right, good evening. So the intent of a Plan Development Overlay District is to promote and facilitate the use of flexible techniques of land development and site design, to provide relief from requirements for conventional developments. The goal is to produce developments that, through better planning, produce a higher level of development, and provide consideration for conservation of natural features, rural character, and provide additional amenities and superior design. Departure from these requirements, departure from the requirements of underlying zoning districts, including density, dimension, area, height, bulk, use, and specific content regulations of the underlying zoning districts, require specific tangible benefits to the neighborhood, community, and to the town. The Town of Arlington zoning ordinance allows for sites under 50 acres in size to forego the general development plan step. As such, this master development plan is intended to provide a detailed description of the proposed development, meeting all requirements of Chapter 5 of the zoning ordinance. The applicant is requesting approval of a master development plan for a residential PD. The Chester Hill PD is 15.15 acres. It's located on the west side of Chester Street, approximately 3,500 foot north of Donaldson Road and 1,500 feet east of Airline Road. The proposed uses are 30 single-family lots and 30% open space, which result in a total density of 2.0 density units per acre. Some concerns have been raised about the layout of lots 29 and 30. Concerns include fronting on Chester Street and the interruption of the streetscape and the visual disconnect of the lot in terms of the overall site layout. And prior to the meeting, some additional concerns have been voiced on the overall layout of the Chester Street facing lots as far as their orientation, which I'm sure the board would like to discuss in discussion. Bulk regulations. So deviation of bulk regulations may be allowed if the development provides tangible benefits to the community. Base zoning for this parcel is E estate residential. The requested overlay zoning is RS18. The table below indicates applicable bulk regulations for base zoning and proposed bulk regulations for the Chester Hill PD, with variations being from base being in red. So basically, the RS18 PD, they're asking for a difference in what would the base allowance be and everything except for the density, which they are lower than the density which would be allowed for that PD. So Chapter 5 of the zoning ordinance sets max permitted gross development density for each conventional residential district. The requested 2 dwelling units per acre fall significantly below the 2.4 dwelling units per acre allowed by an RS18 overlay, but it does exceed the 1.98 dwelling units per acre of an RS22 overlay. So that's why this one sort of falls in the middle, much closer to RS18. Green space and amenities. This 15.15 acre development is undeveloped and largely treed. A map of the proposed development illustrating the location of large trees or clusters of trees that will be removed, preserved or conserved, and areas in which replanting of trees is required has been provided, indicating that the area that is to be cleared is to be cleared to allow for grading of the build site. So basically, they're going to clear the entire build area and leave the surrounding in place. There are 3 common open spaces. As part of the PD, common open space lies at the south of the entry drive along Chester, consisting of 0.08 acres. Common open space B is north of the entry, consists of 0.09 acres. And common open space C is on the west end of the development and is proposed to remain in its natural state. The mail kiosk is to be located at the western end of the development off the cul-de-sac. An example of design has been provided, including a structure that will meet Town of Arlington requirements. The landscaping standards provided in the master development plan include 2 different landscape plates. One is for the internal road streetscape and the other is for the Chester streetscape. The internal street requires a street tree placed at 30 foot on center. The Chester Street landscape plate consists of a maple or an oak at 40 foot on center, split by a crepe myrtle with 3 shrubs spaced at 3 to 4 foot on center. The outline plan sets forth requirements for maintenance of the common open space, internal median, streetscape areas, neighborhood greens and parks to be the responsibility of the HOA. So the landscape, the Chester landscape plate, again, consists of maples or oaks at 40 foot on center, split by crepe myrtles with shrubs in between at 3 to 4 foot on center. Additional screening on the sides of side lots along with the incorporation of entry signage should be considered. And staff does recommend if the orientation of the Chester facing lots it continues where the side would face Chester, staff does recommend a continuous screening meeting Town of Arlington design guidelines along Chester Street in addition to the proposed landscape screening. The phasing plan. The plan indicates that all construction will be completed as part of one phase. Infrastructure for the entire development is expected to take 6 to 8 months, and once completed, the construction of the homes will be done in groups and is expected to take 24 to 36 months. Architectural design. The master development plan indicates homes will be one of 5 architectural styles. These include Craftsman, American Farmhouse, English Revival, Greek Revival, and Colonial Revival. Provisions of the outline plan govern such items such as roof material and pitches. Allowed roof materials include architectural shingles and metal roof used as an accent material. Exterior finish provisions read as follows. Exteriors should be brick, 75% brick and/or stone, and could be a mix of siding, which would be hardy or equal, which would be 5-inch exposure or less, horizontal, vertical, or board and batten. The plan indicates that garage will be oversized, double or 3-car. Oversized garages are intended to provide additional depth or width beyond standard 2 or 3-car configurations to accommodate storage, workshops, or larger vehicles, while maintaining compliance with applicable zoning standards, building setbacks, and architectural design requirements. And garage configuration will be side load, front load, or motor court, depending on lots. A minimum heated square footage of 2,400 square feet is specified for the PD. Architectural restrictions and overall aesthetics are to be managed by the HOA. The master development plan states that a declaration of covenants, conditions, and restrictions shall be applicable within a community, and an architectural review committee will review and approve all development details, architectural designs prior to issue of building permits. Examples of floor plans and and elevations have been provided as examples of homes to be built. Other plans and elevations will be allowed by the PD, and elevations will be governed by the architectural design standards mentioned previously. Site layout. Access is via a new road with a 50-foot right-of-way curb, gutter, and sidewalk. Town of Arlington subdivision regulations set a threshold for the addition of a required second access point at 50 lots. As such, a single entrance off Chester meets the requirements. Traffic impacts. Arlington's traffic impact policy sets minimum thresholds for a traffic impact study. So for a traffic impact study to be triggered, 100 or more new total peak hour trips or 500 new total daily trips, whichever is greater, must be generated by the development. A single-family detached development would need to be 100 lots in order to generate 100 peak hour trips. As such, a traffic impact study would not be required. Chester Street road improvements. Arlington's future road plan calls for Chester to ultimately be a 4-lane undivided road, 48-foot wide with a 68-foot right-of-way. This development will be required to widen the west side of Chester to 24 feet from center line with curb, gutter, and sidewalk. In addition, the widening of Chester Street will include a creation of a center left turn lane for northbound traffic at the subdivision entrance. This requirement will involve some road widening beyond the development frontage to allow for the lane shift transition at the turn lane. Pedestrian access. A proposed network of sidewalks provided to provide access throughout the site for pedestrians. Final site design will require ADA compliance for sidewalks and access to mail kiosk and any other public amenities. Public sewer improvements. Master sanitary sewer plan was not submitted as part of the submittal. The plan indicates that a master sewer concept plan will be submitted at the time of a final plan, at the time the final plan is submitted for review and approval. Stormwater detention area is proposed at the western end of the development. Further details shall be provided at the site plan phase. All improvements must meet town of Arlington standards. PD objectives, the Board of Mayor and Aldermen may, upon proper application, grant approval for a plan development overlay district, which through proper planning and design will ensure the following specific objectives benefiting the town, the residents of the development, and the developer. First is exceptional architectural and environmental innovation in the design of development. The second would be exceptional preservation of rural character, open space, natural vegetation, natural geologic, and topographic features. Third, more efficient use of land resulting in networks of utility, streets, and other infrastructures. Fourth, alternatives to private automobile travel to prevent discontinuity on travel movements that would increase length of trips. 5, small businesses serving neighborhoods provide convenient shopping. Amenities not typically found in other developments such as greenbelts, pedestrian accesses, recreational facilities, etc. Developer benefits, all of these objectives, all objectives applicable to this PD have been met. If approved, the applicant must submit site and construction plans for Planning Commission review and approval. The Planning Commission heard this item at the November 17, 2025 meeting with a duly advertised public hearing and recommended approval, and staff does concur with this recommendation as the project meets the criteria set forth in all applicable Town of Arlington ordinances. And that completes my presentation, and a public hearing is required.
You've heard the thank you, Jeremy. You've heard the recommendation by Mr. Crater. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Mr. Brooks, second by Mr. McKee. All right, we're on the main motion, but we do need a motion to suspend the Board of Mayor and Aldermen and open the public hearing. Motion by Vice Mayor McKee, second by Mr. Barker. We are now on the public hearing for Resolution 2025-51 to approve a master development plan for residential plan development consisting of 30 single-family lots with 3 common open spaces located on 15.15 acres known as Chester Hills PD. This public hearing was published on the Daily News on December 9th, 2025. Anyone wishing to speak for or against this particular request and this request only, please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Is anyone here to speak on this one? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing and resume the meeting? Motion by Vice Mayor McKee. Second by Mr. Barker. We are back in the main motion. Discussion.
To be honest with you, I thought it made a really good use of a piece of property in developing a very nice, small pocket community. I like it.
I've got concerns. One, I do like the fact that I like the, when we do the small pocket neighborhoods. So I do like the one way in, one way out, and kind of creates a neighborhood atmosphere. So I really like that part of it. I have concerns about Chester Street, and as Chester Street develops, like Milton Wilson developed, what's it gonna look like? So when I drive down Milton Wilson, there's parts of Milton Wilson where we have fences, side fences or back fences. And then there's other sections like in Maple Grove where all the houses face Milton Wilson. To me, I think it's much more aesthetically pleasing to drive down that section of Milton Wilson and see front yards, people keep their yards up, versus just seeing fences. And so thinking long-term, I would much prefer if lot 1 and 2 and 27 and 28 were facing Chester, since there's not gonna be really hardly any green space, those are very small, you know, .08 and .07 acres of green space. To me, if you can't have the green space at the front of the development, I would prefer to have those lots actually facing Chester, so that when people drive down Chester, which is gonna have a lot more traffic than people just going into this neighborhood, you see the front of people's houses and you see their front yards versus looking at side fences.
Do you have a question for, for the developer?
I
or for-
don't know, I mean, if he wants to address that, he can.
Bart Thomas, City Investment and Development Company, 6245 Greenlee, Suite 101. You know, this is a tough piece of property with all that area in the back, and so the limited green space out front is just a result of really making the economics work as far with only 30 lots in one single phase. We're experienced in this at the Donaldson Farms. We had 29 lots there on 13 acres that we were working with. It was a rougher piece of property. But, you know, with that development, we're really just trying to kind of flow right into this development with that. And we currently have 10 or 8 lots left in that development and a few spec houses that we're hoping to burn off right now. So,
Let me ask you this.
as far as turning them, they're less marketable for us. Obviously, it'd be bigger lots, it'd be a different kind of it'd be a different buyer. But like with the 2,400 feet, like we've missed out on sales to empty nesters and things like that at Donaldson that wanted a smaller footprint. So with 2,400, most of that's going to be down.
Yeah.
And all these are 80 footers with a side load garage for the most part, except for the wedges in the back. So we're really trying to
Let me ask you this.
hit those empty nesters as well.
If you took away the green space in front of lot 1 and in front of lot 28, and we gave you that, could you not flip 1 and 2 so that they face Chester, 28 and 27 so that they face Chester?
And so just cut them in half, and because that's 125, I think, depth on each of those, right? So we only have, you're talking about just killing 2 lots, is what you're saying?
Yeah. Flip them. Do what?
That's the only way I see.
No, I think he's thinking that you can turn them both.
They'd be 60
Flip
footers.
1 and 2, so I don't know what the lot sizes would be, so.
Yeah.
If you could, these 2, flip them so that they face Chester, these 2 so that they face Chester.
What's the depth in there?
Shotgun.
To get the same width, it'd be a different style house. It'd be a 60-foot wide lot.
Versus what?
Versus 80.
80?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you'd have a corner lot, Gerald Lawson, 275 wanted Ben. And the other problem with that, Jeremy, is you're creating a frontage lot, you're creating a corner lot, so you've got different setbacks. So by doing that, and then you're putting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 driveways within just about a 3 or 4. I mean, Steve's not here tonight, but it creates a lot of issue in that curve. There's kind of a curve that comes around through there. What we're trying to do is trying to put the traffic back onto the road and direct everybody into a safer spot coming in and out of the subdivision with a line of sight. Besides the desirability of putting there are going to be to the south of that in the next, not in this development, but in another development we're working on, larger estate size lots that are going to present like those 2 larger lots to the south that are going to go. But in this, by trying to keep the uniformity of that lot and try to keep all those different, keep the safety issue for all those different driveways in, you'll lose 2 lots, like you said, to that point, and you'd essentially change the nature of everything of trying to put it in there.
Let me ask you this. I want to be able to vote for this because like I said, I like these pocket neighborhoods. I have a problem with what this is going to look like driving down Chester. Could you not take some green space from the back, put a little bit more green space, in front of lot 1 and lot 28 so that you have some depth there and it's not just, you're not just looking at somebody's side fence, basically.
We could look at that. So tonight's just the PUD. This is for, and Jeremy and I had this discussion, this looks like a preliminary plat. It is not. It is just the rezoning. So all this does is the entitlement. We've actually already turned in the construction plans and the preliminary plat for the February agenda, but we have time to maybe look at that in between if there's a little more room to squeeze the adjustment and add a little more green space to the front, to maybe present those houses back off of it a
I
little
mean,
bit.
if you think about the
that.
preserve, that's like,
Yeah.
if you're not gonna have them face the main road, to me, it should be like the preserve where it's, you drive into a neighborhood and you have
Yeah.
to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The one side on the preserve is closer. They have a little bit of a detention, but the other side is a little bit more, but yeah.
But even on the side that's got the I mean, it's still,
It's probably 40 feet or so, yeah.
40 or 50.
Yeah.
What about not having a fence on, like at Preserve don't have a fence on that side?
Yeah.
On the front side, they don't have fence on them.
Well, at this point, it's, there's no fence indicated as part of the PD, but if a resident would purchase one of those lots and decide to put up a fence, then you have.
Yeah.
I'd rather put a condition in there of what was required than,
I would rather, if you're gonna leave them sideways, I would rather see a continuous design fence to meet our ordinances.
on both sides.
On both sides,
To make it look like it's an entrance and not a.
That should solve that.
Because if you put up a brick wall or brick and cedar combo or whatever it is.
Are you talking more like a 6-foot cedar fence with like some brick columns on the
I
entrance?
think they're just
Or are
talking
you
about to where it
a
looks like
split
it's,
rail?
together to where you don't, I think lot 1 doesn't have something
If you're gonna make it,
jankety compared to 20, even though they, I know we have fence requirements, but they may do two different things that
Yeah,
don't
well,
look like.
ultimately, what our fence requirements would be, that would be it's a,
Condition.
cedar fence, it's gotta be framed, capital trim with a brick column.
but we could go above and beyond that because of this situation. So to me, if I could possibly think about like a brick fence with like the appropriate landscaping and shrubs in it. But the cedar fence, that's great, it's awesome, but you can, before Kensington spent however much they spent on that, to replace that fence down Milton Wilson, it did not look good. And, so to me, if people want to go the fence route and make it more like an entrance into a neighborhood, it should be some type of decorative brick that kind of flows into the neighborhood.
You're thinking a full height brick wall, basically, which is.
Well, yeah, I mean, something, I like to see a design. I mean, I'm not gonna try to design something, but I just don't want it to be like where we have sections of Milton Wilson right now.
I thought your intention was to make it more visible, like it kind of just turn it like to where you can see more landscape. So I think like a split rail or wrought iron or something like that.
Well, when they have the,
Brick walls are 40.
when they have the-
is what, I mean, I like wrought iron, so I would be open for that, but then,
Kind of like aesthetic along Chestnut.
I'm gonna tell you, I'll give you an example. So if you go to Collierville and you go to the movies in Collierville, I don't know if you've been to the movies in Collierville, but whatever road that is north of the movies, you kinda go down there, and there's a road, and there's a neighborhood that's on the left. If you're going west, or if you're going east, there's a neighborhood on the left. And so they have wrought iron fence, and then in between the wrought iron fence and that main road, they have lots of land, like big shrubs and trees and landscaping. So you're not looking at somebody's backyard, but you're also not looking at you're not looking at a fence. Yeah, you're not looking at a wall, you're not looking at a fence, and it looks really, really nice. It's part of the HOA that they have to maintain it and everything. It looks really nice. Something like that, then, yeah, I could support that, but I just have concerns with it starting to look like sections of Milton Wilson where maybe we didn't, 20 years ago didn't plan properly or whatever, and didn't have the standards that we have in place now. Especially as you think this is gonna be a 4-lane road, so naturally, there's gonna be other developments other residential developments are gonna go along Chester, so I kinda think like we're kinda setting a precedent with what we do here, what we're gonna do over there.
Will Jeremy or Will,
With some kind of berm or something like that, work with the topography versus, you know.
I think a wrought iron fence is fine. I mean, if you wanna put
Yeah.
if you wanna put a landscaping, there's a landscaping plate already, but.
as I say, a heavy, you
It
can
has
put
to
some
go
heavy
to the
landscaping
DRC.
there that,
Yeah.
Because it's, the landscape. plan-
it's not that, because it's not a real large, I mean, you're talking 2 lots really that are what? That are, how deep are those
So if-
lots?
125, so we're talking about the house is gonna set back 20 feet. I mean, the fence is only gonna be about 30 feet long.
27, 28?
The rear setback's 20, right?
Yeah, so
So, yeah.
if we required those fences to be the same and with heavy landscaping in front of it, I mean, or
And the
whatever.
landscaping that's indicated in the plate is, you know, is sort of the standard landscaping that we require in commercial.
Yeah, I don't like that. I mean, that's not what it.
Do we need to do that tonight, or is that something that we do on the next, at the next one when they actually
Well, it's something
bring?
that can be handled at DRC
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
It's
that would
common
be
open
handled.
space, we can handle it at DRC, so,
Well, I'm not on DRC.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I hate to say that, but I'm not on DRC. So I really want, I like the wrought iron fence idea with the heavy landscaping, like, because that looks like green. It looks like a green space. If you put a lot of landscaping around it.
Arborvitae's 6 feet, I guess. And wrought iron fence. I'm good with that.
I would just say that with the wrought iron fence, with the landscaping, that there needs to be something documented for those lots, that their side yard is, because what'll happen in a lot of these lots is you'll have this wrought iron, you have landscaping, and they're gonna put a cedar fence right behind it.
Yeah.
And then it's only gonna go to the rear third of their house. And I think that's what that Jeremy's trying to get away from, is so that we don't have this discombobulated fencing scenario where either put in a proper entryway fence, brick entryway kind of thing that's a traditional subdivision entry, or come up with another plan where the homeowners can't just take their freedom of how they want to put a fence in, where it's at and all that, that on those lots, unfortunately, you're going to see their backyard.
We can restrict that.
Well, not if you do the landscaping.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, but in the wintertime, you
Yeah,
will.
like at
Well,
Donaldson
not if you do
Farms,
the landscaping right. That's what I'm saying. You go, if you go over there to where I'm talking about in Collierville, you'll see perfectly, like, they planned it really well. You cannot see anybody's backyard. Honestly, I went and looked, there's a wrought iron fence there, but you can't even hardly see the fence because it's all green with heavy
How
landscape.
old is that subdivision? You know, I mean,
It looks like maybe 15 years or
15
something.
years, 15 years.
Ultimately, we have to remember though that it's gonna take 15
Yeah,
years
yeah.
for this to get to that point.
On the outside of the fence would be HOA required, though, like the landscape and the shrubbery would
just
be.
like at Donaldson Farms, lots, I guess, 1 through 18, all have wrought iron in the rear are restricted to that.
Yeah.
That's right.
Going
Yeah,
forward.
And
And
that's
those
how-
houses were sold first.
Yep. But I think if we can have some
You have
sense
a
of
restriction
security
on the
that
side.
those lots won't just have fences being put up behind a fence and then whatever.
Yeah,
I
that
would
was
feel
my
more
point of the
comfortable.
other. That's what we did on the other, is so there couldn't be an opaque fence between there and and we've done that in several different places.
So to my question, Jeremy, is this something that tonight, this proven on is coming back next month, something that do we have to put a condition in tonight? Or is that something that happens between now and then and we just,
You know, this doesn't come back next month, this is.
This is it.
This is it.
I thought you was, that was always going to DRC.
DRC,
It's going to the planning commission, you're going to the planning
planning
commission.
commission's in that.
I would recommend putting in a condition on the PD requiring, language be put in to restrict, to provide those restrictions. You agree with it?
Yeah, I do. I think what we're looking at, if I'm, and please correct me if I'm wrong, understanding all the conversation tonight is some additional landscaping and then consistency and, no opaque fence on lots 1 and
28.
28.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's sufficient, such that likely you want something on that landscaping to create that screening.
Make it look green, make it
No,
look
certainly.
soft.
And you also mentioned trying to get a little bit more green space, more depth in that green space in
Yeah.
the front.
Yeah.
And I think that would probably pretty easily achieve by just kind of, I don't know how, where the edge of that ridge actually falls, but, ultimately, I think we can probably get, a little bit more depth out of that green space in the front.
Okay, so we need to get a condition in on that as far as, do we leave that up to staff to do, or, I mean, we know what we're trying to say, but I'm just trying to say, how do we get it right?
The motion would need to include that condition.
Yeah, just include it.
So I'm trying to figure out how to word it.
On
That's what I'm trying to say.
the lack of the opaque fence, I mean, that's gonna come in the CCRs that are gonna be drafted and then presented to staff to review. So I don't know if we necessarily have to have something there. I think we understand where we're going on that. But certainly need it for the landscaping and then the additional buffer if we can work through that.
I think Jeremy, you may have to give some advice on this, because none of us are landscape architects, and so.
So, I would say condition is provide additional depth at that common open space, that's A and B, along with additional landscaping, provide, sufficient to provide opaque screening to, wrought iron fence, some wrought iron subdivision fence, something like that.
design.
Right, iron and landscaping.
Yeah.
And it may
Additional.
not be wrought iron, if you say opaque, so just.
I would say just,
Are we-
let's just say wrought iron. I mean, that, like, we're comfortable, if we're comfortable with it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, or decorative.
Decorative metal fence.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
Something like it.
yeah.
Wrought iron's kind of a term that nobody does wrought iron.
Yeah, everybody does, yeah.
Is that, are we requiring the decorative metal fence, or is it, if they put a fence in, that's
Or
what?
similar.
I would say
I would
required.
suggest, I think your intention is to require, correct?
Yes,
Is that a correct understanding?
yes.
That
We had no problem with.
the developer is gonna do that, not the homeowner has to do that.
Develop, correct?
Developer.
That's part of the.
So that way they'll be
that's part of
consistent
the-
on,
To be maintained by the homeowner.
HOA.
And it sounds like the developer is okay with this idea?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Developer's
appreciate
the home
that.
builder. They will be building the homes. That's what we were going through. In order to, if we want to do tonight, what we could probably do is take at least 5 more feet. That's an 80-foot lot. We can make it a 75-foot lot and add 5 more feet to the depth without having to change anything right now.
That would be great.
And just change the configuration of, it would have to be a front load because the way you're changing it off, but probably that's the easiest way anyway. So we could probably change those 2 to 75-foot lots if
Think
that's.
about that though, okay? If that's gonna be a front load house, the first one you're gonna see is that garage.
So why would the lot have to change?
Your footprint shrinks, we have 2 5-foot sides, so it's 65 feet. It just makes it harder, to get that side.
Well,
80 footers, and that is just a quick turn in, so like if you. I'd have to, I'm not an architect.
I mean, let me say this. If you guys agree to the wrought iron fence and the heavy landscaping, so that you can't see in their backyard and it looks, green when you, like, then, me personally, I'm okay with you not having to try to move, add more green space at the front.
That's fine.
I'd rather have that than a.
Yeah, I thought that's where we were going
Yeah.
with it, yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you could move the whole development back, which I'm assuming you can't based on the topography of the
The
property.
topography drops off substantially, so yeah.
I figured the layout would be different if the topography of the lot plan
There would be
allowed
more
it.
lots.
All right, so the condition would read to provide restrictions on lots 1 and 28 for additional landscaping and no opaque fencing allowed with the wrought iron to be installed.
Or decorative metal, I guess. I think that's a better term.
That
right?
faces Chestnut.
That would be, I guess, that would be
On the HOA property.
on common open space 1 and 2
Yeah.
versus lots 20. Restrictions on opaque fencing on lots.
1 and 28.
1 and 28.
One, it's a common open space, A and B, thank you.
It's done with the development agreement.
Okay, we got it.
Building permit on that.
So the motion would need to include that condition.
All right, so we are,
You need an amendment.
you need a motion to amend
Motion
the
to make
recommendation
amendment
by Mrs. Durant.
I'll make a motion to do that.
Mr. McKee, second by Mr. Biggs. So we are voting on the amendment to add the condition in there. So all in favor of that motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, so we are back on the main motion as amended. Other discussion, were you through, Jeremy, or?
Yeah, I got some more. So the tree plan, we have, all our guidelines with the trees. You're gonna take a certain amount of trees out, you gotta add all that. So I'm assuming, are all those trees gonna be once we get that back, I'm assuming that those trees would be planted where the green space is? I mean, what's?
Ultimately, the way our ordinances read is you're required to preserve trees unless it's required for grading and all that. If you can't preserve them due to grading, the issue with this is where the yellow hatching is, they're basically knocking the top of the ridge off right there to flatten it out. So it's all gonna have to be cleared
Okay.
as part of that. And the remaining trees and green space left do meet our requirements as far as tree preservation percentage.
Okay. I thought there was something that, like, you had to take the diameter of the tree that was cut down and.
That's how you calculate the tree density units.
Okay.
But that's all been calculated. The remainder is gonna be our
Okay.
minimum requirements.
All right, and then the other thing was, did I understand correctly that it said that, the houses would have to be 75% brick?
Yes.
Okay, because the pictures weren't showing, the
Well,
pictures
those are
weren't
just
75%
more
brick.
examples.
Yes, sir.
I think those.
That, like, that picture's not
For example,
75%.
So basically how it reads is it gives a provision for a mix of hardy or equal up to 75% as well for different styles. So this would be more of a farmhouse style, or I guess maybe a pseudo craftsman style, which appropriate for that style would be a brick wainscot versus a full brick facade.
Okay,
So,
which ones would be like a full brick facade?
English Revival, Brick Revival, and
Colonial.
either way.
So are you guys, I mean, I'm just curious, cause I know, I'm familiar with Donaldson Farms, and what you do.
The farmhouse look is going down, and so we are adding more brick
Okay.
to our houses. And we're in Ashmont at Lakeland, we're going pretty much predominantly all brick. And so,
Okay.
But I think we're at 80% there, a little more so.
I would,
But that, yeah, so I think at planning commissions, when we kind of, I mean, David McLemore, my partner, was here, and he spoke and wanted the 75% to stick to it.
okay.
So,
75%.
yeah.
So-
That was just.
Cause it doesn't really say, I mean,
It doesn't really, it gives, what it does is it gives the opportunity to do a farmhouse.
but you're not wanting to do farmhouses, right?
We kind of scratched that a little bit.
I mean,
So
I-
now, yeah,
Unless
If a buyer wants it.
Come in and want a farmhouse style.
yes, but it still have to be 75% brick.
Okay,
Okay.
there you go.
Can we just change it to 75% brick then, is what you're saying? I mean,
Just reword that to
Yes,
where it
sir.
reads like
Yes.
75% brick,
Yes, sir.
it's kind of confusing.
Yes,
And that's why I put it in there as it read, because the exterior should be 75 brick and or stone, and could be a mix of siding or, so it kind of reads weird, so we just need to kind of.
I don't-
75% with a 25% of hardy or equal, maybe.
yeah, it's just my personal preference, because over time, you're not having to rely on the homeowner to paint their house, right? So neighbors aren't relying on the homeowner, like, oh, you got three people in here that not repainting their house, paint houses like that. It's happened in my neighborhood where you're like, why aren't these people repainting their house? And so, I like the brick, yeah.
So do we need to reword that on the condition, or is that just reworded through staff language? It's worded,
Is it written that way in the master development plan? Okay, cause it was just the staff report, that's easy enough.
Yeah, no, it's in the plan, it needs to be amended in the plan.
all right, so we need a motion to amend.
Do we need any other amendments before we do several motions to amend?
Were there any other changes that you were seeking? Is there any, all right, I mean, let's do it before we do anybody else. Let's make note of that. Let's see what anybody else has before we make that motion.
Can we go back a couple of slides?
Go back to
like
Mr. McKee.
shows the total development. There you go. The gravel sewer access road, that's really just, I mean, there's a sewer line that's running through the rear of that, and that gives access to it.
Yeah, that's just to allow access to it, it's easement, we're not gonna easement gravel.
But eventually, that's gonna just grow up and be green space part of it. I'm assuming that that's not really a permanent deal, which is fine. I was just curious about how that's managed long-term.
Is that, I think what he's asking, if I'm thinking, because I know there's one on Chester.
'Cause it's really not a
to like
walking
to
path.
where we have to our lift stations sometimes. Is it gonna be something permanently, like a gravel road going back to?
It's just a town requirement so that they can get access back there to it if they ever have to. So it'll probably just grow up, but with the gravel underneath, yeah.
Yeah, just because it's not a walking trail, you know, and, but I also just didn't want cars to just be driving back there for the sake of being nosy and driving back there.
Yeah. And you'd have to literally drive in between two houses.
Okay.
to get them there.
It'll be four-wheeler heaven.
Does it,
we've never provided a gravel road to a sewer easement before, and that's something we've never done.
We need to get to the sewer easement
Right,
for emergency. So most of our sewer easements are either gravel or concrete. So yeah, you need
Well,
at
to the
least
lift-
gravel.
To the lift stations, but not to an easement.
You need access to an easement.
Well, there's a space for an accent, but but that's fine, I mean, I have no issue with it, it's just that, I don't remember ever going gravel.
do we want it to, I guess the question is, do we want it to look gravel and unfinished long-term, or do we want?
I'd rather be green, honestly. Like, as long as there's a gap in between lot 15 and 14, you got access to it. So to me, I'd rather it just be green versus a gravel road that looks like.
And is it a road, or is it just like a little 8-foot, 6-foot, 8-foot, like, I know we asphalted a lot of the,
I think there was a requirement to be put on there, but I mean, I don't know if that was Steve or Public Works.
Steve probably asked for it.
Yeah, but we're fine, just leave it as an easement with no gravel. That's fine.
May just want to put one of those false drives there, since if they're gonna have to get a vehicle back there some way, but
False curb cut, and not on the sidewalks.
Well, that's where the mailbox will be, there'll be a cut for the mailbox and then a parking spot or two. That's the way that's gonna have to come in right there anyway.
parking spot up beside it, like in that grass area,
Yeah,
in between those two lots?
if you're requiring parking, if we get parking.
Oh, for the mailbox.
for the mailbox, yeah.
It'll be parallel parking.
So that's gonna have to be maintained then. That area's gonna have to be,
Yeah, as part of the overall, the mail kiosk area will be maintained, but as far as for behind it, back, I was gonna point to this little area where the mail kiosk can be maintained, but the rest of this is just gonna be green.
yeah.
And I mean, ultimately, you leave it gravel, you put the gravel down and you just let it grow over. But like Kathy said, it's gonna be four-wheeler heaven in the meantime. 'Cause it'll run right off of that down into that ridge. Off that ridge.
So let me ask you this, do you think it would be like less attractive if it was just green? People would think it's just a yard.
Yeah, people would be less apt to do that, but at the same time, Kathy makes a good point that if, we need to get back there to access that sewer line, it's gonna be, it could ultimately be a mess.
Could we not make like something in the HOA that, I mean, that's part of the HOA area, that just that in-between area 15 and 14 has to be maintained, like mowed and?
Well, yeah, they're.
It would be that
anyway.
Kathy, don't we have a utility vehicle that's made for those type of situations?
You have a small side-by-side that we use to go in there to inspect, but if you ever had to get in there to dig up a failure, that's a larger piece of equipment. I mean, they could put down rock as they go if that were to happen. That sewer line's been there a long time. It's not a new section of sewer. At some point in time, it may require maintenance, but
I just remember, I don't remember, I think it was gravel at one point in time, maybe asphalted now, but, in
Chester.
off of Chester, the neighborhood that's, Harold's Ridge,
The lift
back there in the
station.
back of it, right? And so that thing became
Neil,
a
you
pain
got
in the
an
rear.
opinion?
I like the concrete, because it's easy access, especially for a big piece of equipment.
I mean, we have to inspect sewer.
Well, for point of clarification too, the sewer line is actually on the other side of the creek, so it's all it's really doing is taking you down to the creek, and you still gotta cross a giant creek.
Which
So
means
you're not getting to the, you're not getting to the sewer line anyway. The development on the church that's coming on the other side might be more appropriate to have some access that comes down through there to get to it if you wanna access it, or access it the other way, because all you're getting down to is a giant creek. So you're not driving a truck or anything else right up to the front. And there'll be public sewer that runs down. So there'll be public sewer that runs an easement down to it, but, yeah.
So if you have more load, you have to the creek, you have to get to the west side.
Well, that's true. If you're working on the lateral coming off of it, that's true, but, yeah.
So everything's basically on the west side of the creek?
Except for the tie.
Except for the tie-in, just the 8-inch line or whatever, it's 6-inch line, whatever's tying in the subdivision.
I'm looking at staff, I mean, are y'all comfortable, since, if that's the case, is that? I know there's always a what if, but
If we have to go back there in the grass, like Captain said, we'll just put rock down if we have to. And, I think like at Harold Bridge, y'all mentioned, we did that at both stations, with the neighbors like that a lot better.
it's cleaner look.
And a bunch of rock.
Yeah.
The lift stations require maintenance on alcohol. You may never have to get to this on this.
I'd rather roll the dice.
I would prefer to, like Mayor said, I'd prefer to roll the dice, and if we end up having to repair something, we can put gravel down at that point to get back there and back in, and then it'll grow back with grass over time. But I just think that that's just asking for more of a pain in the rear, and honestly, the developer running people off the property more than anything else.
How far does that drop off? And that's another thing to think about too. This thing is on top of a ridge and it drops when you come off the back. So that being said, yeah, we just gonna drive a truck down there. You're gonna probably have to have a piece of track equipment to get down there anyway, because it's gonna be.
Which means there's nothing back there for the HOA to maintain.
No.
Yeah, that's what I didn't.
I mean, it's gonna be impossible to really maintain it because if it falls off.
They're just going, HOA, this is just gonna be woods, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be surrounded by wood.
Yeah.
I'm okay not putting the
Yeah.
gravel down.
Yeah, me too. I'm with Jeff.
On the fire side, all the comments we have for a man-made feature like that on any subdivision is if it's a retention pond, and it's man-made, it tends to collect kids and fishermen and swimmers, and we need access to it to be able to deploy our boat for water rescue. So anytime we have a subdivision, that's always the issue, to be able to access that. If it's gonna be in a detention pond with no water in it, it's not a concern for fire. But if it's gonna hold water, then we would need access to it if it's a man-made water feature.
Is that detention or is it water?
I think it's wet.
That's wet.
While you're talking about the fire side, and I assume the cove, I mean, it's hard to tell, I know this isn't to scale or anything yet, maybe, but that's a large enough turnaround? in that
It
code?
is, yes, sir.
Okay.
They met all the requirements in that road width and cul-de-sac.
I knew y'all had that, I just thought I'd ask, just I was throwing you a softball. It is wet, you say, or?
Does it have to be wet?
Yeah, I don't know if it has to be wet is the question, and which is a little bit of the problem of these things all become so detailed before the plans. Until you actually do the construction plans, you don't really know how you can do that. So, I suppose if the issue is if it has to be wet and the gravel provides twofold access, one down to that, then if it has to be wet, we're okay leaving the gravel, and a condition if it is dry. And if we can make it dry, we'll see if we can make it dry detention, but the engineer's not here tonight, and they've just finished the plans and submitted them, so I'm not exactly sure whether, yeah, and so I'm not sure whether it is or not, or if it is submitted as wet, if we could do it as dry, that may be an option too.
So leave it as is, and let's see what the plan comes back, whether it's wet or dry.
So what's the access that you got?
Just with a pickup truck and a boat to get our John boat or our RV deployed to that. So don't have to support the fire truck, taking it down there, just pick up with the boat for rescue.
So was the gravel y'all's condition?
That would work, yes, sir.
So that was y'all's
I'm not
condition,
sure if
maybe?
it's original condition from us, but if it pertains to water.
Okay.
So we can just, when we make our condition here in a minute, we can say it's conditional upon the construction plans of the detention pond? Does that sound okay, Will? Yeah, okay. All right, Mr. McKee, you good? Down there? You good, you good? Mr. McKee, you got a question?
Good.
I got one just for clarity, because you said something in your presentation. Motor court.
Side entry, so basically, garage faces sideways, you enter here.
Okay.
Kind of like,
The hood garage.
I thought that's kind of what I was about. It's the first time I saw it say motor court, and I was like, maybe I should know that by this time, but I wasn't sure.
It usually says courtyard entry.
Yeah, so that's why.
You thought
Okay.
people were gonna park RVs out there.
Last thing, yeah, last thing, and so you said about the traffic study, we don't, with 30, you don't have to. And I know we've got, Woodland Estates, which only has like 60-something total whenever they do it, and so that's still not even so you said 100. So long-term, that road, with the road improvements they're making, I know we've got like brand-new 6,000 square foot house going almost kind of diagonal from this one. We feel comfortable with all the, with,
Steve looked at all that, he feels comfortable with.
Okay.
With where the road width and all that is in the future.
because I know that's gonna be kind of, until development happens, because I mean, there's gonna be existing residents that don't have to do anything, and the town's gonna have to do at some point, yeah.
The improvements are gonna happen piece by piece.
Yeah.
by piece.
Okay.
Will the turn lane be in front of 29 and 30? Because it's set in there to the entry of the neighborhood.
Well, no, because it would, usually, because they would be taking a left coming in from 29 and 30.
So, yeah, that's where your turn lane would be.
Turn lane would be in front of one?
Yeah, in front of one.
Would be at the left.
You'd be,
You put the middle center.
oh, you put a center turn, okay.
Center turn,
I thought you
yeah.
meant like a right, okay. So-
Yeah, I got it now.
Okay, okay.
I'm just saying, would the center lane run from 30 to the entryway? It will? Okay.
I mean, that's gonna ultimately be designed by the road design, or we go require lanes required by.
It just said in the presentation that it would be at the entry of the neighborhood, and so I just wanted to clarify. So, I'm
With
good.
so many footage, I think it has to be.
All right. So I guess if there's no other comments, we just gotta get another condition on, and then have the final vote if everybody's ready. So we need a motion with the condition of 75% brick, correct? Is that what we're going with?
With
70?
25% hardy or equal.
Okay, that condition along with, and we also said the gravel drive is dependent upon the construction plans.
Pending the necessity, pending, dry or wet.
Yes, okay. All right, so I need a motion with those two conditions added.
I'll make a motion for those two.
Motion, Mr. Biggs. Second by Mr. Barker. Any objection to those conditions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we are back on the main motion with the conditions that we voted on tonight, the amendments. Any other discussion before we vote? All right, seeing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
As
Aye.
amended.
As amended. Opposed? That item passes. Thank you. Item B, Resolution 2026-01 to authorize Mike Wisman in his capacity as mayor to enter into a contract with VUCON for SR 205 repairs and safety improvements from Bragg Drive to US Highway 64. Mrs. Duran or Mr. Perkins, which one do you?
So we've been talking about this for years, and the bids have been opened. 3 bidders did submit bids. The lowest bidder was VUCON. They are also a contractor for your Donaldson Farms Parkway. The project timeline is 120 days. The total bid amount is $537,435.50. The next step would be to set a pre-construction, issue a notice of award after tonight, and a notice to proceed. It is a critical job, so time is of the essence, and we will be stressing that to the developer. It will consist of sheet piling to stabilize and add a shoulder to the road with a rumble strip to warn cars that they are getting over onto the shoulder. There are 2 sections of disjointed concrete pipe. We are in hopes and very much believe that those concrete pipes can be reset and rejointed and those repairs made. So we recommend award to VUCON in the amount of $537,435.50.
Heard the recommendation by Mrs. Duran. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. McKee, second by Mr. Biggs. Discussion or questions?
That take care of that sinkhole, right?
Yes, sir.
That they patch in about every month?
Yes, sir. That's where the pipe, one section of the pipe's disjointed.
Any other questions, concerns?
Seeing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That item passes.
That's the $500,000 mess State of Tennessee left you. You're welcome.
It's been there
Yep.
forever.
I wasn't gonna say that, Rick, but thank you, Mr. Rick. Any other new business?
None.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the bills for payment?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Brooks, did I hear a second by Mr. Harmon? Any objection to paying the bills? Seeing none, that item passes. Any other quick comments before we adjourn? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yep.
Motion by Mr. Harmon, second by Mr. Biggs. No objection, meeting adjourned. Thank you all.
Oscar?
Everybody remember, thank you ACS, we will try to clean up our mess.
I'm trying to decide whether I'm gonna go to work on Friday.
That'll depend on whether you win or not.
I'm pulling for all this.
I think it's specified in
Well,
there.
It's their opportunity.
It's a hyper.
Hey, and it's
And their
lined up,
coaches are really good.
and it's lined up pretty good.
Oh, no, you never will.
Indiana's a scary one, but I still think they're gonna have to have a fault at some point.